Some weeks ago I taught you the 5 signs that you carry the old spirit, and I asked you to count your marks, and you did. Thousands of you did. I read the comments long into several nights. 4 out of 5, 5 out of 5, all my life, and I never knew what to call it. Comment after comment. And I sat with all of it, and I knew what teaching had to come next, because identification without instruction is a lamp handed to you unlit. So, tonight is the second half. Because here is what I did not say last time, and it must be said. In most of you, the old spirit is present but sleeping. You know it is true because you feel the difference between having it and living it. You have the wide circle, but it aches more than it acts. You have the love of the old ways, but it lives in you as longing, as homesickness, as that beautiful sadness when the light comes through the trees. And longing, my friend, is the sound a sleeping spirit makes. It is real. It proves the spirit is there, and it is not the same as the spirit awake. I have known people with the spirit fully awake. My grandmother was one, and awake looks different. Awake is not homesick. Awake is home, everywhere, in any kitchen, on any street. Awake does not ache for a life of meaning. It generates meaning daily out of ordinary materials, the way a fire generates heat out of ordinary wood. And here is the good news of tonight, the news the old ones knew and drilled into their children. The spirit does not wake by accident, and it does not wake by wishing, and it absolutely can be wakened at any age, hear me, at any age, by practice. Specific practices, old ones, simple ones, the very ones my people used for 1,000 generations to keep the spirit lit in every member of the camp from childhood to the last day. Tonight I am going to give you 5 of them, the 5 great awakeners, and none of them cost money, and none of them require a healthy back or good knees, and every one of them can begin tomorrow. The lamp is in you, we established that last time. Tonight we light it. But first you must understand what put the spirit to sleep, because the awakeners only work if you also stop taking the sedative. Hear the truth about the modern world, spoken without anger, as plain fact. The modern world is a sleeping medicine for the old spirit, the most effective one ever devised, and it sedates by 3 methods, all day, every day. The first is noise. The spirit, I have taught you, speaks and hears in silence. Silence is its whole element, the way water is the fish's element, and modern life has abolished silence. The television always on, the radio in the car, the phone at every idle moment, and a spirit that never touches its element for years does what any creature kept from its element does. It goes dormant. The second sedative is speed. The spirit lives at the pace of the earth, at walking speed, at season speed. It attends, it savors, it takes the long way, and the modern world runs at machine speed and drags you with it, and at machine speed nothing can be attended, nothing savored, and the spirit, which cannot function at that speed, simply stops trying and goes below. And the third sedative, the deepest one, is the unused body. Hear this one because nobody says it. The old spirit does not live in your thoughts, my friend. It lives in your whole body. It always did. It wakes through the hands, the feet, the senses, through making and touching and walking and tending, and the modern life has emptied the body of almost all its uses. The hands that made everything now press buttons. The feet that walked everywhere now press pedals. The senses that read the world now read screens, and a spirit whose whole house has been shut down, room by room, has nowhere left to be but asleep. There is the honest diagnosis, noise, speed, and the unused body, 3 sedatives taken daily for 50 years. Nothing is wrong with your spirit. Hear it again tonight. It is not weak. It is not gone. It is not dead. It is sedated. And everything I teach you tonight is simply the stopping of the sedatives one by one, and the reopening of the house. And so you believe the reopening is possible at your age. Let me show you one reopening I watched with my own eyes. A man I knew, retired, 72, was as sedated as a spirit can be. Television, from waking to sleep, the recliner, the routine, and a flatness over him that his family called just getting older. And hear me, the man had the marks, all of them. Anyone with my grandmother's training could see the old spirit in him buried, but the marks were all in the past tense. He used to garden, he used to fish, he used to carve. Everything used to. And one small thing began his reopening, and it was not wisdom. It was a power outage. 3 days without electricity after a storm, and this man, television dead, was forced out of the chair, and he lit candles in the evening because there was nothing else, and he sat in front of them because there was nothing else, and he walked the property in the mornings because there was nothing else. 3 days of accidental old living. And when the power returned, his wife told me, he did something she could not explain. He did not turn the television back on in the evenings. He kept lighting the candle. Something in 3 days had stirred that 40 years of comfort had buried, and he felt it stir, and he was wise enough, hear this, he was wise enough not to sedate it again. The candle led to the workshop led back to the carving knife led his hands awake, and his hands led the rest of him, and the man who spent his last 8 years carving small birds for every child in that family, teaching 2 grandsons the knife up at dawn, out in the weather, vivid and present and fully lit, was the same man who had been flat in a recliner at 72. Same house, same body, same knees. The only thing that changed is that the sedatives stopped for 3 days, and the spirit, given one crack of an opening, took the whole house back. Yours is waiting to do the same, my friend. It does not need a storm. It only needs you to stop the noise on purpose, which is exactly what I am about to teach you. Before I share the next teaching, I need to tell you something. I am not going to be here forever, and most of what I know was never written anywhere, so I sat down and I wrote it. All of it. 20 teachings, 4 parts, in the order they were meant to be received, the ones about the sedatives and the awakeners, the whole practice of the way, laid out step by step, for the ones ready to live it and not just long for it. It is called the native way, and it costs less than one dinner you will not remember. Scan the code on your screen or look in the comments. But do not leave yet, because the 5 awakeners are coming now, and the first one happens tomorrow before the sun is fully up, and it takes 10 minutes, and my grandmother did it every morning for 80 years. The first awakener is the greeting of the light. This is the oldest practice my people have, older than any ceremony I could name, and it is this. Tomorrow, be awake for the sunrise and greet it. That is the whole instruction, and now hear what it means done properly. Not watching the sunrise through a window while the coffee maker gurgles and the television murmurs. Outside, if you possibly can, on the porch, in the yard, bundled if it is cold, facing east, in silence, present for the actual arrival of the actual light. My grandmother did this every morning of her long life, every morning, rain and snow included. 10 minutes, sometimes only 5, standing or sitting facing the east, and she called it the most important appointment of her day, and when I asked her why, she said, "Grandson, every morning the Creator makes the world again, from the dark, from nothing, and most people sleep through the making and then wonder all day why the world feels stale to them. It is not stale to me. I watched it being made. Hear what this practice does to the sleeping spirit, because it works on all 3 sedatives at once. It is silence, the deepest silence of the day. It is slowness. Nothing on this earth can hurry a sunrise. And it is the body, outside, in the actual air, in the actual cold, senses open, receiving the one show that has been running every morning for the whole history of the world. The spirit cannot sleep through many of these, my friend, I promise you. Something in you that has been dormant for decades stands up. Within the first week it stands up and looks east and remembers. The second awakener is the return of the hands. The spirit, I told you, wakes through the body, and the hands are its front door. So hear the practice. Every day your hands must make or tend something real. Not manage, not click, not arrange, make, or tend. And the old categories are these: earth, so the garden, even one pot of it, even 3 herbs on a windowsill, hands in actual soil regularly. The old ones held that touching earth wakes something that nothing else reaches, and I have found it true my whole life. Food, so the cooking of real meals from real ingredients, the kneading, the chopping, the stirring, done as tending and not as chore, the oldest handwork there is. Craft, so the making, whatever your making is or used to be. The wood, the wool, the thread, the paint, the repair of things, and hear me. Many of you set your making down decades ago because life got busy, and it is sitting exactly where you left it, and it was never a hobby, my friend. That word was always too small. It was a door of the spirit, and it still opens. And care, so the tending of living things, the animal, the bird feeder kept faithfully, the plants, the small daily keepings. 1 hour a day, hands on the real world, making or tending, and it does not matter which door you use. What matters is daily, because the Spirit checks the front door every day, quietly, to see if anyone has come to open it. And after enough decades of nobody coming, it stops checking often, and your work is to be there, hands moving day after day, until the day it checks and finds the door standing open and steps through. You will know that day when it comes. The making will suddenly feel like more than making. That is the Spirit, moving back into its hands. The third awakener is the keeping of a fire. Now hear me practically, because I do not require you to build a fire pit at 80. The fire can be a candle, but the practice is real, and it is this. In the evening, at dusk or after, light a flame. 1 candle is enough. Put it where you can sit before it. Turn off every screen in the room. Hear that part. Every screen. The flame replaces them. And sit with the fire for a time. 10 minutes, 20, watching it, the way human beings watched flames every single evening for the whole of human history until 1 century ago. My people's entire way was organized around the fire. The stories happened at the fire. The silence happened at the fire. The family happened at the fire. And I used to think the fire was just where these things occurred, and my grandmother corrected me. She said, "No, grandson, the fire is what made them possible." A flame does something to the human spirit that nothing else does. It gathers the attention without demanding it. It moves without going anywhere. It silences people into the good silence, the open kind. And in front of a fire, the spirit, which hides all day from the hard light of screens and schedules, comes quietly forward. Every people on this earth knew this. It is why every temple had its flame. So keep one, my friend. 1 candle, each evening, screens dark, you and the small fire, and use the sitting however the evening asks. Some nights it will be prayer, some nights remembering, some nights the good empty watching, and the Spirit will begin meeting you there, at the fire, at the appointed hour, the way it met your ancestors at theirs, every evening, for 10,000 years. The fourth awakener is the listening walk. The Spirit wakes in silence, we established it, but there is a deeper truth. It wakes fastest in listening silence, outdoors, in motion. So here is the practice, and it may be the most powerful of the 5 for the sedated. A walk, as many days as your body allows, and the walk has one rule that changes it from exercise into awakening. Nothing in the ears, nothing in the hands, and the whole walk spent listening. Actually listening, hunting with the ears, the way my grandfather taught me to walk when I was a boy. He would take me out and say, "Today we count birds by sound alone," and we would walk, and I had to catch every voice, the near ones, the far ones, the one that stopped when we came close, and I thought we were playing, my friend. We were not playing. He was installing the old attention in me, the attention that listens outward instead of inward, that reads the world instead of the worries, and that attention is the old spirit's native state. Your mind, on an ordinary walk, chews its worries. You know it does. The whole walk gets spent inside your own head. The listening rule breaks that. You cannot hunt the far bird and chew a worry at the same time. The attention will not split. So for the length of the walk, the worry-chewing stops, and the outward attention, dormant since childhood in most modern people, gets exercised, and it strengthens shockingly fast. And one day, a few weeks in, you will be standing on some ordinary corner of your ordinary street hearing a wren, and the moment will suddenly go wide and vivid and almost holy, and you will understand that the world has been this loud, this alive, this full, the entire time. That is not a new world, my friend. That is the old spirit, awake, wearing your ears. And the fifth awakener, the one that completes the others, is the daily giveaway. Hear why it comes last. The 4 practices above wake the spirit, but the spirit, once awake, must be given its work, or it drifts back down, because the old spirit is not a feeling. I have taught you this in other ways. It is a way of moving through the world, and its way is generosity. So the practice is this, simple and endless. Every day, 1 giveaway. 1 deliberate act of unrequired good, given quietly, the way I have taught you giving works. The call to the person who crossed your mind. That is a giveaway, hear me. The thought of them was the nudge, and the call is the gift. The food made double and 1/2 carried to the neighbor. The honest compliment delivered instead of thought. The patience given in the slow line given deliberately as a gift to a stranger's day. The blessing spoken over a grandchild's head. Small, daily, quiet. 1 a day. And here is what the daily giveaway does that nothing else can do. It converts the spirit from awake to employed. The wide circle stops aching and starts acting. Remember, the ache was the sleeping form of it. The homesickness eases, because the homesickness at bottom was the spirit's grief at carrying gifts it was never allowed to give. And a spirit that gives daily is not homesick anymore. It is home. It is doing, at last, in this world, in this modern century, on your street, the exact work it was made for. And on the day you notice that the giveaway has stopped being a practice and become simply what you do, the way weather is what the sky does, on that day, my friend, the awakening is complete, and you can stop counting signs and checking marks forever, because you will not be a person who carries the old spirit anymore. You will be a person the old spirit carries. So there is the whole lighting of the lamp. Stop the sedatives, the noise, the hurry, the unused body, and take up the 5 awakeners. Greet the light, return the hands, keep the fire, walk listening, and give away daily. Begin with any one of them tomorrow. 1 is enough to start. The practices call each other. I have watched it 100 times. The sunrise greeter finds herself planting herbs by summer. The candle keeper finds himself walking. The spirit, waking in one room of the house, begins opening the others from the inside. And give it a season, 1 season, and then look at yourself honestly and see what has come awake. The vividness, the steadiness, the meaning generating daily out of ordinary wood, the longing gone quiet, replaced by something the longing was always pointing at. Your people, the old ones behind you, whoever they were, from whatever land, kept this spirit lit through ages harder than yours, through hunger and crossing and war and loss. They kept the lamp lit and handed it down, all the way down the line to the last carrier standing, who is sitting right now in front of this screen, being asked for 1 season of practice. Light it, my friend. Not for self-improvement. We are far past such small words tonight. Light it because you are the one holding it, and the line behind you is long, and the darkness around this century is real, and 1 lit lamp in a house, on a street, in a family, is how the light has survived every dark age it has ever crossed. It was never going to be somebody else. It was always going to be you. Tomorrow, facing east. Begin. If what you heard today stayed with you, the book is there. The Native Way, 20 teachings, 100 pages, the whole practice, in the order it was meant to be received. Scan the QR code on the screen with your phone or find the link in the comments. Read one chapter. Sit with it. At the fire if you can. Now I want to hear from you. Tell me in the comments, which of the 5 awakeners are you beginning with tomorrow? Say it plainly, because a practice spoken out loud is twice as likely to be kept. I read every comment. And if this is the kind of conversation you have been looking for, subscribe to this channel. We are not collecting viewers here. We are collecting people who remember. Come back next week. I am not done teaching yet.